Hey, hello again, folks, from Catasaqua. Today is still December 7th, 2025. It's a Saturday. We are standing next to the Lehigh River. This auto bridge here is the Pine Street Bridge, not the original span, although that one is rather old. But there was once an older span that crossed the river here, as you will see in the thumbnail picture that I am using for this video, and also that same picture will be in the community section of this channel. That way you can get a better look. But there used to be an older truss bridge that used to cross the Lehigh, and then other points of interest on either side. So we're on the east side of the Lehigh River. Over on the west side is former Lehigh Valley Railroad main line, and possibly the Ironton. I'm not sure if it came down this far. It might have. You know what? I believe I'm wrong. I think it was just Lehigh Valley right here. But also Lehigh in New England. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. Our focus point for this particular video at this moment is this old bridge right here, which I've been trying to figure out exactly who it belongs to. And at first I thought it was Catasaqua and Fogelsville. But I'm thinking that I could be wrong about that. I'm thinking that this bridge was built by the Lehigh Crane Iron Company, who began operations in 1840 here in the Catasaqua area, and if I read correctly, was also the site of the first anthracite-made iron in America, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll have to double check that. But I believe that it was the Lehigh Crane and Iron Company that built this bridge, because the Crane Iron Works is back to our east here, the former Crane Iron Works. And the Crane Iron Works and the Thomas Iron Works both came up, or they both needed a railroad, and they created the Catasaqua and Fogelsville, which terminated off in West Catasaqua somewhere. I don't think this was actually Catasaqua and Fogelsville building this bridge here. The Catasaqua and Fogelsville ran all the way out to Berks County, to Albertus, to the Lockridge Furnace. So this was all connected. That's all the same company back in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s. They were producing, I believe it was pig iron, which was then later refined into finished goods, finished iron products. But I believe that's who built this bridge, the Lehigh Crane Iron Works, to get to the Catasaqua and Fogelsville terminus, and also to interchange with the Lehigh Valley Railroad, which was on the other side of the river. Now, the Catasaqua and Fogelsville would eventually fall under the Reading Railroad flag. I think it was 1892 the Reading had the majority share of their stock and owned most of the rolling stock. In 1944, it actually became official, where the Catasaqua and Fogelsville was part of the Reading family. And the Catasaqua and Fogelsville still operates today, just not this far east. It's owned by Norfolk Southern now, and it is the C&F secondary. So I believe this concrete, and I believe the iron structure of this bridge is possibly Lehigh, New England. Let me climb up to the top and we'll get to that in a second. Bear with me here. Sorry, a bit slippery on the leaves. So yeah, I think the stonework on these bridge piers is Lehigh Crane. They had their own private railroad, I guess you could say. And I think they built this bridge to get over to the bigger railroads to interchange. But they also, on this side of the river, the east side, had the Lehigh Coal and Navigation System, or Lehigh Canal. And then later the Lehigh and Susquehanna Railroad, which became the Central Railroad of New Jersey. I believe the Crane Iron Works did business, interchange business with all those railroads. But again, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay, so this is the old bridge here. Now I've got Stella with me today, so I'm not going to be going out too far on this. I can get out a little bit, but right there, you can see there's no more ties there. I don't want to go out too far because I don't want Stella to follow me. Stay back. But I believe this is a Lehigh and New England built structure. And the reason I say that, let me get my notes out. Okay. Also, if you notice, that picture I used for the thumbnail and also in the community page shows a couple of different buildings right at the end of this bridge. I believe that is the foundation of one of them. And then the Central Railroad of New Jersey had a rail depot a little further up here that we're going to go see some remains of. Minimal remains, but remains nonetheless. I'll tell you what, why don't we stop this here and we'll call this part 1, and then I'll pick up with part 2. We'll talk about the Lehigh, New England, and then go see if we can find some remains of that railroad station. I'll see you in part 2.